On this round of TG Station, Porter Flea is not only not an antagonist, but also on Tram Station, a station layout that prides itself on being less efficient and more prone to sabotage, so that means this round is basically a write-off. However, the other atmospheric technician decided he wanted to create metallic hydrogen. Metallic hydrogen is a theoretical phase of hydrogen in which it behaves like an electrical conductor and is theorized to exist inside Jupiter. Understand that under normal circumstances, hydrogen forms diatomic H2 molecules, which is analogous to halogens and some nonmetals such as nitrogen and oxygen, and under atmospheric pressure would only liquefy or solidify at 20 degrees Kelvin and 14 degrees Kelvin respectively. It is predicted that under an immense pressure of 3,900,000 atmospheres, hydrogen would no longer be discrete H2 molecules but would form a solid lattice of protons with electrons delocalized throughout. Producing metallic hydrogen in the laboratory has been described as the holy grail of high-pressure physics. The holy grail of high-pressure physics? Well, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Oh no. Not only do neither of us know how to do it, but we also have some initial confusion over whether Peyton is talking about 10 degrees Kelvin or 10,000 degrees Kelvin. The chief engineer provides some technical mentoring and we scope out the fusion reactor room and then suit up. Peyton puts down the heat exchange pipes and I watch because, to be honest, I haven't done one of these layouts before. Peyton nixes the idea of temperature gates for this setup because those devices don't even work at the extremely high temperatures we'll be working with, so we get rid of it and I go to get some plasma glass. At this point, I spotted a chemist who blew himself up and fell down from the floor above cooking meth. I called in the honorary titer over the engineering channel while the rest of the station figured out what was going on over the common channel. We screw in the plasma glass because containing the fire is clearly the most important step that you absolutely do not want to forget to do. After all, safety first. We begin setting up a vent and the volume pumps that we'll need to use from a safe location outside the burn room. I decide to go get some food in the meantime and start tripping out from the trans fat content. I realize my job this shift is to be the gopher, and I go for the crystallizer board as requested and also pull some metal for the machine frame. I put it together and apparently all it needs is a board and some glass. Easy peasy. Turns out we need to get the hydrogen up to 50,000 degrees Kelvin. Higher than previously thought, but the chief engineer offered some encouragement. We of course need fuel, so we retool the plasma and oxygen feeder to accommodate our needs without subtracting from others, while Peyton seems to enjoy high pressure tasks. I keep eating because the hunger never really dies when your kitchen is a vending machine. So in addition to the hydrogen, we also need a gas called BZ. BZ is a hallucinogenic gas produced when 2 parts plasma and 1 part N2O are combined under 10 kilopascals of pressure. We of course are not going to mess with that lame combining business, and instead we plan to order a canister of BC directly from cargo, as well as a canister of water vapor. I message the quartermaster and head over. I encounter the captain in the cargo hold, who is more of a drunk bastard than Jim Leahy, and trying to get a knife shipment of some kind. The captain attempts to duel me, which I decline since I've got bigger fish to fry, and I steal cargo's microwavable chow. I listen to the quartermaster lecture the captain and I grow impatient. Turns out cargo seems to want a quid pro quo arrangement, in other words a contribution of an express counsel to Cargonia's cause. So I get to work like this is some sort of Legend of Zelda early game tutorial mission. Peyton checks in because it's taking forever, but we're working as fast as we can while the captain apparently is going down Bon Scott's type of career trajectory. We get the express console built and then CENTCOM starts shelling us with our requested canisters, a slightly unsafe albeit effective delivery option. The next problem we have is the BZ canister crate has to be unlocked by the research director or a Borg, so I work on getting the silicon friends of ours to send a Borg over, which takes forever while the AI gives us some fairly unsound advice. We get our canisters into position in the burn room, set an improvised igniter, and begin pumping the fuel into the burn chamber. It goes about as well as you'd expect. The room explodes in a cloud of flaming purple gas. I take out my fire extinguisher and attempt to fight the fire that's now leaking out into the rest of the room. It looks like one of our windows was never properly fitted into place, so now the entire room is the burn chamber. I attempt to keep the fire at bay so Peyton can put the window into place, but my extinguisher is soon empty, and furthermore, the room is becoming dangerously hot. We retreat to get our fire suits and backpack-mounted extinguishers and return to the burn room. The situation is pretty grim, and water alone isn't really cutting it to get rid of the flames. At this point, the room is filled with white-hot flames, and I decide it's time to bring out the heavy artillery, the resin launcher. I am not very good with using the launcher, and I significantly undershoot the fire. However, while being less than ideal and making the firefighting process more slow than it optimally would be, it does help to calm down the situation. I dig Peyton out of the resin while he puts a silver lining on our present situation. I go and get the water tank, but it turns out at this point it was unnecessary, and we carve out the wreckage of the room from the resin everywhere. The floor tiles are busted badly, and in some places the dirt beneath the station is exposed, and some residual fires spring up due to a few remaining hot spots. However, we get it generally under control and safe. We're now back to square one almost. The lights are out and we need another can of BZ from cargo, and also water vapor. Engineering is pretty much entirely irradiated around the supermatter engine. The rooms around engineering are also dangerously hot, and I deploy some space heaters to provide temperature control and provide some tools for the Mothman scientist. The whole situation of the burn room is a mess. In addition to being dangerously hot, the APC supplying power is busted and there are no lights. I attempt to fix the situation by building a charger for the power cells that go into the space heater, but it doesn't seem to charge as well as I hoped. Everyone at this point is getting pretty sick of the shift, so they hold a vote to call the shuttle, while I continue to just try to make the area around atmospheric safe to breathe. The captain uses a pretty bad reason, so I attempt to instigate a mutiny. Peyton gets round 2 going while I change gear. I also attempt to replace the lights to improve our working conditions, but realize I have no idea how to fix lights. I just whack it a bunch of times and then attempt to rebuild a brand new one by hitting it a bunch of times. The shuttle is 1 minute away, and Peyton suggests I leave the room. I coax the truth out of him, and he reveals he's going to commit atmosia harakiri by letting fire cleanse him of his failures. I wish him well and head to the shuttle after bringing out the fire axe for my own protection. Departures hall is a mess, indicating some kind of problem that unfolded during our failed experiments. In the end, my big regret was that I did not join my technician brother in restoring honor to our families, because in the end I only died ignobly in the brawl to an officer's saber. Turned out the entire shift was a green shift, a round without antagonists, or as I like to think of them, a self-antag honeypot operation. Apparently it was a fruitful fishing expedition, because while the players spewed out salt over the prior match, the admins spent the next, hold on here. Let's see, 25 minutes addressing player complaints. Actually, it was probably longer than that. I turned off the recorder. Anyway, yeah, green shift. Yeah, we just stay inside our little corner during green shifts. We just stay inside. Take care, everyone.